有史以来、悪事ほど人間にとって魅力的なものはこの世になかった。それゆえ、禁じられた優越として聖書には描かれているのだ。そしてその追求こそが真の悪の本質。悪とは人間が定めた規律や倫理から超越しているものだ。
What is evil, and why does it exist? These questions has captured the interest of scholars of diverse specialities and backgrounds for centuries. The methods of answering it and the answers themselves have similarly reflected this diversity. People throughout history tried to understand it through different approaches, from legal, practical, theological, and philosophical ways. And as bad as it really is fascinating how multi-layered human psychology is, and how complex we are, how ideology shifts, and how we are swayed, changed, and shaped by surroundings, ourselves, and more. Change is scary in the sense that it might be good or bad, and by bad I mean really bad. From Nero to Maximilien Robespierre to Marquis de Sade and to the recent German man with a distinguished mustache, people of all levels and types of evil appeared throughout history. But instead of analyzing those historical figures, I have a different approach, and that is to examine fictional characters, more precisely anime characters. Of course, this video should only be seen as a fun YouTube essay about anime and not a legit psychological commentary, simply because I unfortunately am not qualified enough to do that, and that is not the intention of this video in the first place. This is the second part of a series I started a few months ago, so check out the first part if you haven't. And in that video, in which I talked about Light, Johan, and Bondrewd, the main theme and approach was about external factors like environment, power, and nature, and how these factors affected those individuals and made them who they are. In this video though, I want to focus on the opposite of that, on the inner self, on evil as a natural trait, whether that is psychological or biological, and how that might produce monsters. No major manga spoilers will be mentioned, only what was already seen in the 3 anime I will talk about: Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia. Enjoy.
人間とは悪だ。怒り、恐怖、憎悪、復讐、破壊。人間の本性は悪なのだ。
In psychology, the dark triad comprises the personality traits of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. They are called dark because of their malevolent qualities. Psychopathy is characterized by continuous antisocial behavior, impulsivity, selfishness, callous and unemotional traits, and remorselessness. Machiavellianism is characterized by manipulation and exploitation of others, an absence of morality, unemotional callousness, and a higher level of self-interest. Narcissism is characterized by grandiosity, pride, egotism, and a lack of empathy. Technically, all members of the Dark Triad in Black Clover have some of these traits in their personalities. But if each of them was the embodiment of one single trait, then Dante will definitely be that of narcissism. He is extremely proud and full of ego, manipulative and self-centered. If the world is going to end but it entertains him, so be it. He thinks he is the king of everything, with a crown on his head at all times, and thinks he can control people and order them to be his followers as he wishes. Dante is extremely arrogant and he lacks empathy. He believes that the origin of humans is evil, and that there is no greater joy than malice. And it's exactly that origin of evil that makes us lie about our feelings and act as we like. To him, he's only being honest, and is talking from experience. He felt empty throughout his life. No relationship nor victory gave him the feeling he gets when he betrays someone, when he backstabs, hurts, attacks, and challenges people who are strong for his own joy. In his own words, when you unleash the rage, hatred, revenge, and destruction that is within you, you are the most human of all. That is your true form, the feelings of malice. As ironic as it is, he describes evil actions and claims they are pure human, while he himself is a host to a devil from whom he draws power. He succeeded in his attempt to make Asta lose control and get consumed by rage, revealing a monstrous form never seen before, and trying to get revenge, which Dante expected and believed in, which makes what he said somewhat true. But before Asta went into that mode, he told Dante that even if we are consumed by these feelings of anger and malice, even if we feel like we can't control them, it's our good heart that suppresses them and allows us to control them and become even more powerful. And that is what it means to be human. Unlike Asta, who has a very big sense of morality, Dante is a psychopathic battle maniac who finds joy in battles. He is a human who failed to control his dark side and was fully consumed by it, embracing it and calling it his origin as a human. As the parallel between him and Asta, who are both devil-possessed, Dante by all means lost his humanity and became evil, while Asta stays a proper and controlled human who acknowledges and understands his dark side. There is indeed a dark side in all of us, but it is how we respond to it and control it that makes the difference between good and evil. As Eric Burdon said, inside all of us there is the seed of both good and evil. It's a constant struggle as to which one will win, and one cannot exist without the other. Dante, although is technically half a devil and is a human who left his humanity to his dark and negative feelings, is still a human. But what if the individual in question is not even human, yet still has those exact negative feelings? Not just has them, but he literally is them. If this darkness within that can consume someone and make him lose it manifests itself and takes a living form, it would be a scary entity. And that is exactly what happened when the curse that is called Mahito appeared, who is the extremity of bad human behavior. He is the summit of malice, greed, evil, lust, and more. He is a pure being that strives for nothing but his own pleasure. Pleasure through making others suffer, by hurting, manipulating, and killing them from the inside. Mahito is way more scary than Dante, because there is no way for him to change, and he simply won't stop. At first he was just this curse exploring his power and learning about behavior, under the impression that he is working with the other curses in order to create an era for them. But that was never his motive, or at least he didn't have a motive until then. And just like Dante was opposed by Asta, who represents the opposite of what the former embodies, Mahito is challenged by Yuji, who is the total opposite of Mahito, but yet they are the same. Yuji's actions towards curses are in a way the same thing that Mahito does to humans. So who is on the right? And does life really have value? These questions are explored by the author a lot by utilizing these two characters. Mahito is evil at its finest. If evil is truly a human trait that is buried inside all of us, then Mahito represents that. The fact that someone is willing to cause chaos, hurt, and inflict harm on others just for their own joy is a human trait buried inside all of us, and just like how it is nurtured by the life and change of Dante, it is manifested as a supernatural being through Mahito. What makes both of these characters stand out is that they are not misguided or controlled by anyone or anything. They also are not doing what they are doing and hiding behind the fact that it is for the greater good of the world, like so many villains tend to do. These two are simply too honest about their feelings and ideologies, so much that they don't even try to justify them. They simply argue with their foils with smiles on their faces, reinforcing their superiority and proving their twisted ideologies. And as Asta disproves Dante by using common sense, Yuji disproves Mahito through feelings, and how he is wrong and it doesn't matter if we are the same. What is wrong is wrong.
それでも、その男の気迫は僕らに死を錯覚させた。あれが All for One。
In My Hero Academia, humans are given a superpower that was later called quirks, to make it feel less exotic and more natural for society to accept. But these quirks caused a separation and hate from those that have them and those that don't for a long time. The idea wasn't accepted, and naturally people abused this power for their own good. Villains and evil people appeared, each serving himself with the use of this newfound power. Also, naturally heroes rose as well, defending the weak and fighting against villains. But it is not as simple as that, because quirks themselves are unfair and gave birth to a lot of other problems, like the burden of expectations, mental issues, racism, discrimination, abandonment, and more. And through all of this rose an individual with a special power to take from and grant quirks to whoever he wishes, for the price of following him. But unlike individuals who have their own philosophies against quirks who failed to accomplish their goals, this individual, All for One, is different in the way that he is extremely manipulative, tyrant, and evil. All for One plays on the weakness and desires of others in order to fulfill his desires, giving a quirk to someone who desperately wants it, and taking away the deformity of someone who despises it, promising and providing hopes, shelters, and guidance. Some people naturally understand his way and go with it. Others become attached and loyal to him, and others are blinded by his kindness and are controlled and used as pawns. He rose and became the symbol of evil, for a goal that is yet to be known. All that we know is that what he is doing is unacceptable, and just like how villains are opposed by heroes, All for One as a person and as an idea is opposed by One for All, started by his own brother and passed down through generations, that all suffered defeat against him, until his biggest rival, All Might, appeared and defeated him, only for him to miraculously survive and appear yet again. We naturally consider All for One a villain, an evil man, even though technically, when we look at his actions and his words, he is more like an anti-hero, doing the right thing but in the wrong way. Think about the people that are desperate, and he provides them with help. To them, he is a hero, more than anyone else, way more than All Might, for example. This all goes back to the most important question in the series: what is a hero? Or put simply, what is considered good and bad? Whether it's a world filled with supernatural abilities and a crowded celebrity-like system for heroes, or in a medieval setting in a fantasy world with magic, or in a normal world with a hidden existence of supernatural cursed entities and shamans that keep the balance and safety of others, the idea remains the same, that the difference between good and evil is so big, but also so small in some ways, that what is considered good varies from person to person, that might be dictated by the way one person sees things, It might be how we naturally are created, and it might as well be how society as a whole sees it. One thing remains constant, and that is the fact that evil exists, and it will always be there. But just like how evil people exist, there are always good ones to counter them. And what we can ultimately take away from this is to understand and acknowledge our dark side. And that the more we understand and control the shadow that is inside of all of us, the better we get at distancing ourselves from bad actions and behavior, and to not fall into the abyss of darkness, the source of evil. Many thanks for watching.